Shalom, family. Good to see everybody here. I hope you're all doing well. We're going to talk about what happened last night. Tommy, no doubt, thank you for becoming a new channel member. Well, if you're not caught up to speed on what's going on, Donald Trump had what he calls Iran nuclear sites bombed last night. And of course, Iran, they are vowing to get revenge, and it's not really hard for them to get revenge. So, all they need to do, because I believe there are 15 US military bases in the Middle East, and see, that's the quickest way for them to gain access to soldiers and Americans, right? So that's how they're going to strike. They don't have to worry about sending missiles all the way over here because plenty of Americans are over there in the Middle East. Well, Donald Trump strikes them and then immediately tells them to surrender and, have talks. And he's telling them not to retaliate. And, y'all, that kind of stuff don't work anymore. It might have worked for a hot minute, but in the times that we're in, attacking somebody and then telling them to stand down, it's just not going to happen. They have done that actually for many years. That's why this war with Israel is going on. Israel did things to them and they didn't retaliate for a while. Now they're fed up and they're retaliating. And unfortunately, with Donald Trump in office, he acts more like a crime boss than a president. Nobody on this planet likes Donald Trump. And I'm sure he would be more than happy to attack the Americans, over here if they could. Now, Russia, Putin did speak this morning, and I was listening in on what he was saying. He said Russia could get involved in this whole thing. It depends on what's going to happen. And so he is sitting there and watching. And I'm just telling you, Iran, they are allies with Russia and China and Pakistan, and we know all three of them got nukes. And I'm telling you, y'all, if they get involved, I just don't believe Israel and the US are going to win. That's where I stand on this whole thing. We are at a time in this country where it's a power shift going on. It's a major power shift going on. And that shift is going to be complete. I mean, the wars were spoken about in the Bible, wars and rumor of wars. So we knew these times were coming. We knew they were coming. I mean, for a long time, there were saber rattling, people would threaten each other and then nothing would happen. And that's because it just wasn't time yet for a war to break out at that particular moment. But we are at a time where it is now the right time for these things to happen. And it's going to happen whether we like it or not. But things are changing rapidly, and we know the people in power now will no longer be in power. And they know it too. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, they are in a fight of their life. They are. And if they can slow down prophecy, yeah, that's what they're going to do. And that's what they are doing. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is written and it will happen. They are going to lose complete power. Not only are they going to lose complete power, they are no longer going to have access to the resources on this earth. They're no longer going to have access to us the way that they have access right now. Everything is going to change. And my question is, are you ready? Are you ready? I am. So we must pray, fast, and do anything you need to do to stay connected to our Heavenly Father, the Holy Spirit, Yahweh. We must stay connected at all times. That is the thing that's going to keep us safe through this entire thing. Our time at the bottom is coming to an end. And you see how fast things are moving. Donald Trump has only been the sitting president for 6 months, y'all. Look at everything that has occurred in those 6 months. Now, I know I have been doing videos on, how the Mexicans keep coming at us about coming out and protesting. We don't have time for that. We don't have time. Nobody is going to come. They just haven't accepted reality. Nobody's going to come to their rescue. Nobody is coming to their rescue. They are Gentiles. The time of the Gentile is over. This is why that particular group is falling fast. They're falling fast because they are of Spanish blood and they are Gentiles. Their time is done. Nobody is going to give them preferential treatment anymore. They got a little bit of perks here and there. They got propped up for a little while, but that's over. What's coming for them is going to be the same thing coming for the house of Esau. The same thing is coming to them because they are part of that house of Esau. Remember, because they'll even tell you they're like 70% of Spanish blood. Yeah, so they're part of the house of Esau. That's what they are. And their decline, they think it's bad. It's actually going to get worse for them. And, people running to the aid of Gentiles, that's not going to happen anymore. Even if it happened to Esau himself, nobody's going to run to their rescue, y'all. And we're not. Look at how much they've been out protesting. And they're another group that's been trying to get us to go out there hand in hand with them. And we have said no, because the time of coddling a Gentile is over for all of them. So nobody is going to come. And that's what they have to deal with. We dealt with that for 400 straight years of nobody coming to our rescue, nobody really making a hard effort to run interference for us. Nobody did those things. And they don't realize they get double. So it's going to be far worse for them. I just can't imagine everything we've gone through, and others are going to be going through that now and get a double dose. It is like inconceivable, but that is what's going to happen for them. The only thing we can do, that judgment will be coming. The only thing we can do is stay out of the Most High's way, because he's going to carry out that judgment. And if we're in the way, we get part of that judgment too. So it's best to stay completely out of the way. My brothers and sisters, stay out of the way. We don't want double of anything, especially after everything we have already gone through. Stay out of it. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get to what happened last night. I would have done this last night, y'all, but I just did not have the energy, and I had to get the orders ready, which will be going out today. And I just had too many things to do. So we're going to do it now. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get started.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say, we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
من به گازه شهرانو زدم. اینطوری دارن میزنن.
Okay, so what you're looking at is one of the sites, Fordow, that was hit by the B-2 bombers last night. So this is one of the sites that was hit by the US military. And you're going to hear some clips of what some of the American citizens are saying as well. All right, let's resume.
This is major breaking news. The United States now at war with Iran. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, releasing a statement just moments ago saying, "We have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran." He included the name of those sites. He said all planes are now outside of Iran airspace. And then he says a payload of bombs was dropped on primary site Fordow. All planes are safely on their way. Congratulations to our great American warriors, he says. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President posting this just moments ago on social media. The United States has now been drawn into a regional fight with Iran and Israel. Details still to come. This is breaking. Also, check back with the Don Lemon Show on YouTube and on other socials, including Substack, for live breaking news updates. More details to come on this breaking news story.
Okay, y'all. So here's where I got a problem with Donald Trump. Before Donald Trump went before the American public, he posted everything out on social media. And I think that as a president is very inappropriate. When the strikes were done, I think the appropriate thing would have been to come before the cameras to tell the people, not typing some crap on social media. I don't know. Just a president being on social media as much as him, it tells me you're really not working that hard. He's literally on social media every day. I mean, and I'm like, okay, so how many hours are you actually working? I don't know. I just get this feeling that Donald Trump is probably doing either a half day or just a few hours a day as president because he's on social media all the time, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. People are always reporting stuff about what he's posting on social media, which leads me to believe that Donald Trump ain't working that much, y'all. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's hardly working at all. But let's go on. Oh, and yes, and by the way, people are afraid they're going to have to go to war. And I was reading the U.S. Navy out there in the Middle East. They said they don't want to fight at all. The sailors, they don't want to fight at all. They didn't want this fight. But see, that is exactly what Iran is going to go after. Not only military bases, but any naval vessels that are out there. They're going to try to sink them. So it's not a good situation. And see, Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, they've already put their foot in the mouth by making it very clear that they want their military to be white. Okay, well, you're going to get what you're asking for. And let me tell you something. You are never, ever, 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 ever going to win with an all-white army or all-white Navy, Air Force. You are never going to win. America don't win wars anymore anyway. When was the last one they won? What? In the 1950s, the Korean War? And from that point on, America don't win wars. Not anymore. All right, let's go on.
America just started war with Iran by bombing a handful of their nuclear facilities, and Iran just issued their first statement in response saying, "Mr. Trump, you started it, and we will end it." I would argue that this makes it clear that Iran plans to retaliate. If they do decide to retaliate, that retaliation could look like a couple different things. The first thing this could look like is strikes on American military bases in the Middle East. The second would be American embassies in the region. And the third, which would be what would most be felt by us here at home in mainland America, would be a decision to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. So the Strait of Hormuz is a strait in which is controlled by the Iranian government. And the reason this would be so damaging is it oversees 20% of the global oil consumption every single day. If they decided to close the strait, this would be incredibly damaging to the global supply chain of oil. And this would hurt us here at home in America, not just by making us pay more for gasoline, but we would also be paying more for the commodities that we either want or need to survive. Either because that oil would be used in the production of these commodities or in the transfer of these commodities. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll keep you guys updated as we learn more. Tonight is going to be a very, very long night.
Well, y'all heard it first on CNN, guys. Bunker up, pack them kids up, find a spot in the woods and disappear because
how accurate that is. Is there any of this?
let's just pray that we make it through this.
Obviously, the strikes in Fordo and
Oh, God.
Are more difficult, are more easier said than done.
I don't know if I'm ready, y'all.
The Fordo facility, obviously, underneath the
But we
mountain.
better bunk up.
Wherever you are right now, sitting on the couch, driving to work, scrolling on your phone somewhere, this will be remembered as a spot you were in when World War III officially started. Donald Trump announced on Truth Social tonight that the U.S. has bombed 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Not in a press conference, he announced on Truth Social that he had basically taken us to war. And you know what? There isn't going to be any winners on this war that he just threw us into. Not in Iran, not in the U.S. All that's going to happen is we're all going to lose soldiers on both sides of this. And you know who's really not going to feel the way is the leaders of this. Donald Trump, his kids aren't going to be the ones fighting it. It's not going to be Don Jr. lacing up combat boots, and it's not going to be Ivanka dodging shrapnel out there. It's going to be kids from working class families like mine, like from my town. It's going to be kids who signed up into the armed forces to defend honor and a sense of freedom, not to defend a dictator's ego. If he did this without any sort of congressional approval and he just decided himself to take us to war, he needs to be removed from office immediately. And if we have any Republicans in office who can't agree to that, they can follow him right out the door.
I really hate to ruin everybody's Saturday with this news, but I just need to let y'all know, this is breaking news right now. We are officially at war with Iran. Trump announced literally like 30 minutes ago that American warplanes dropped bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. This is literally recently after Trump said, I don't know if we're actually going to go to war. Well, yeah, here we are now. So the sites that the United States hit specifically was Iran's 2 major uranium enrichment centers. There's a place in Iran called Fordo. They hit one of those places. It was the mountain facility. The second place that was hit was a larger enrichment plant, and I think it's pronounced Natanz. That was a site that Israel themselves struck days ago with smaller weapons. And the third site is a city where Iran is believed to be keeping near bomb grade enriched uranium. And in case everybody forgot, Trump literally said that he was going to keep America out of wars. And look what he did. He threw us right in the middle of a war that we didn't even need to be in. Need I remind you as well, Marco Rubio, days ago, made an announcement saying, we're not involved in the strikes against Iran. Our top priority is protecting American forces in that region. And once again, look what they did. We've been trying to tell you guys time and time again that this administration lies and they don't have the American people's best interests at heart. So many people didn't vote for Kamala Harris because they said, oh, she's not trying to stop the war in Gaza. Like she's all about, like, y'all literally didn't vote for her because you felt like she didn't care to end a war. And now you have Trump literally throwing us in the middle of war. Congratulations. Y'all are the reason why we are at war now. The people who voted for Trump. It's y'all's fault. Thanks a lot.
Who did this? Who did this? Who are you trying to help? Huh? That man don't live down here. Okay, he don't be here every day. Okay? We know when that man is over here on behalf of everybody who live in West Palm Beach. Okay? When that man is down here, Southern is blocked off. Okay? You'll be like 30 to 45 minutes late for work because you go on and say, I'm going to take military. Military is packed also. You know what? I'm going to take Congress. That one is packed also. So on behalf of everybody in West Palm Beach, they don't need no help. That man don't be here. You can... Di paret la. E ba manti mabo. C'était la mdabou la. Di paret la. Yo pa besoin direction. They don't need direction to where this man is. Okay? So s'il te plaît, please, aim your missile somewhere else. Okay? Thank you very much. Di paret la.
Oh man, that was funny when I saw dear Iran. He's on the golf course. So anyway, y'all just stay up to date on this kind of stuff. That way you know what's going on. I know sometimes we don't want to be bothered because, we want to just be off doing our own thing, but pay attention to this one. This is going to be a disaster for America. And Iran did not stop bombing Israel. They are still sending those bombs over. In fact, I was looking at it first thing this morning when I woke up. They had dropped some more bombs down on Israel, and I'm telling you, Tel Aviv is jacked up. I think all the people have left out of there. So it's not that many people still staying there anymore. They said a lot of people cleared out of Tel Aviv because of all the bombing over the last, I think this is like day 8, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, well, the Most High is going to drive people off of the land. War will definitely do it. And those people are leaving. I have seen some of them even leaving by boat. They are getting the hell out of there. And I don't know if y'all been keeping up, but Iran bombed their airport. All right. So their airport over there got bombed. So it is absolute madness going on. But the way we stay safe is to stay out of all of this Gentile mess that's going on, So now we got the US and Israel versus the Persians. And we know how the prophecy goes. We should all know that because I know, just like you, I have read the Bible multiple times, and many of you have read it multiple times. So we already know what's coming. We already know. We know the ending of this nightmare that we have been in for hundreds of years. And at least the ending is going to be a good one for us. So we must just stay close to our Heavenly Father, no matter what. Stay close with Him. So, my brothers and sisters, we'll continue to talk about the things to come. And again, just stay prayed up. We will be okay. We will get through this, y'all. We absolutely will. Everything that we're supposed to have will come back to us. Everything. You know, everything. And remember, in the end, we'll know it's the end because these folks are literally going to beg to stay in power. But it doesn't matter how much they beg, it will be over for them. But they are literally going to be begging and crying to stay in power. But we don't care about that because we know the Most High is never going to let them stay another second in power. So, y'all, I have my next live stream coming up at 2:00. I hope to see you all there. All right. And that one is on Elon and SpaceX blowing up on the launch pad. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So I will see you then. Shalom, family.